Leafs talk. JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. Leafs lose to the Penguins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty easy one for me, brothers. This is a game where too many power plays gave Pittsburgh opportunities to get in this game. Hung around this game. And the Leafs just weren't good enough 5-on-5 because the forward depth just isn't there to take advantage of a team that is 32nd in goals against this season. Like a truly putrid defensive team, and Toronto just could not get the offense going.
It felt early in that game like there were they looked like the worst defensive team in the league. I thought that the Leafs had a ton of opportunities through the first couple periods where they were just lanes wide open. They were going towards the net. They had tons of offensive zone time, but they couldn't really get one to go, and they couldn't get a high quality chance off of the zone time they were creating. Like the first period, and it's 2-1 for the Penguins, a lot because of special teams, obviously. But like the Leafs, I mean, they caved them in. Like it felt like it was wasn't close in comparison. And as the game went on, it really felt as though the Penguins made adjustments. They started to get better defensively, and the Leafs didn't really rise to the occasion. And then, you get a power play goal to go up. It's, of course, it's Michael Bunting, and that's the end of the game. But yeah, it's the 5-on-5 stuff is definitely becoming a story here. And I think a lot of it has to do with, like you said, them having to play this AHL level bottom six, and them, say what you will about the Penguins. They're not the best team in the league. They're not close to the best team in the league, but they've won 5 or 6 games here now, and they have NHLers in their bottom 6, and the Leafs don't. And it's 2 games in a row here now where they've played teams that have NHLers in their bottom 6, and it hasn't gone as well. Leafs had a soft schedule for that really hot streak, and they were able to get by this. But it's like, you're going to need to start having some real guys come back here, because you can't play Mitch Marner 25 minutes.
Well, to me, it's just it's definitely that. And Marner has another multi-point game, right? So hard to throw any blame his way. I don't think that this was the best game from the guys in the top 6 by any stretch of the imagination. I actually thought Tavares was pretty good tonight, that he had some opportunities, could have cashed some, but ultimately, like that's just it to me, is the guys that you're throwing out there don't let you have waves of attack. And when you're chasing a game right now, you just don't have a lot of faith that the Leafs are going to be able to get back in it. Like it's a weird feeling to be playing the Pittsburgh Penguins again, 32nd in the NHL in goals against. Tristan Jarry in net, a blue line that is certainly nothing to write home about, and feel like it's going to be, tough for the Leafs. Are going to need breaks to get back in it. I do think that, listen, maybe this is kind of one of those spots to do it, but I thought that the Alex Nylander penalty, even though the Leafs didn't score or get scored on in that moment, was a bit of a backbreaker just in terms of momentum of the game. Like Toronto's trying to find themselves, they're chasing the game, and all of a sudden you're losing 2 minutes on just what is a lazy, bad penalty. And again, a reminder of like, if you're going to be the guys who aren't contributing, you can't be the guys that also hurt the team, right? Like that is just god awful in that spot. And to me, like, it's crazy to say this because like the guys that they're keeping out of the lineup right now, it's 21-year-old Russian kid who's, got some flair, but maybe not ready for the NHL game every night. Nick Robertson, who's been one of the most, criticized Leafs of the season, if not the most criticized. And I don't think that you can play Alex Nylander anymore. I don't get it. I don't see any part of it that is really NHL caliber. To me, he is just the quintessential quad A guy. Cannot play him again.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like for me and you to be sitting here and being like, are you sure you should have taken out Robertson for that guy? That tells you a lot of what we think of Alex Nylander, I think. Like, he didn't have much of an impact on the game. And then for him to do that, listen, I know he got the hand in there, but Bunting grabs on, drops the knee down a little bit. Like it's a classic embellish by Bunting where he gets the call and the ref bails him out a little bit there.
Sure, but that's also knowing like time and space.
You can't stick your hand in the cookie jar like that.
Yeah, come on.
I know, but like, Bunting sells it as he always does. And he tried to sell one earlier with Holmberg where they're going to initiate and he flops all over the ice like he always does. He's just what I can't stand him. He's my
I know. I think that's coming through loud and clear.
He's unwatchable.
Anyone's confused.
Him on the Leafs. There was like for a guy that played a lot of games in big spots in big opportunities. There's not a guy I think I liked watching less than Michael Bunting. And tonight it was just a full bunting experience. He was just a fake tough guy moment away from the full bunting hat trick tonight with a embarrassing dive and a goal. So anyways, enough about bunting, but you're right. If you're the bottom half of this lineup and you're not doing literally anything offensively, you sure as hell can't be reaching in the cookie jar in the middle of the ice in a 1-goal game with 10 minutes left in the third period. That's for sure. You can't be doing that.
Nope. No, you can't. And I just, this is going to put weirdly even more pressure on Max Domi when he gets back, right?
So true. It's like, oh, come back, mister. You were lighting it up when you left. We need your production.
6 points, no goals. It's coming off of a lingering injury. And all of a sudden he's got to come back and basically play like bottom six savior and hope that he can kind of get some chemistry going. I think maybe try him with Fraser Minton, given that they're given this look right now of the top six. And I think you'll probably roll with that for a little bit and not throw Domi into the fire with it. But yeah, God, dude, they're just paper thin with the bottom six forwards. There's just nobody there that you really feel like is going to make a play, make a goal. Like there's a couple moments of this game where it's Simon Benoit jumping in the rush, trying to make things happen. And I'm going, I feel more confident that Simon Benoit
He
had a look earlier in the game too, right? Like he had a chance. I thought, dude, this guy might crack one. It's got more of a shot than any of the guys that you're seeing right now in the frame.
Well, I'm just looking at the ice times here. Marner's 25-23 tonight. Matthews is 22-43. And then it's like Reeves played 7:41 tonight. Lorentz played 10. Dewar played 10. Holmberg played 9. Alex Nylander played 9. It's too big a discrepancy.
That's just nothing. That's literally nothing from those guys.
Yeah, it's just way too big of a discrepancy where like you need your guys in the bottom have to be playing 12, 13, that sort of thing, so that you can keep those Matthews and Marner then at around 19,
just have a couple
20.
of them feel like they're giving you something on any given night, right? Like, hey, not every team has amazing guys in their bottom six, right? This is the NHL salary cap era. But what you just need to have is a couple of guys in a night like this to emerge and go, all right, we're getting you out there for an extra shift. You want to have one of your lines feel like there is an identity. And I think one of the problems that they have right now is that fourth line that's supposed to be a bit of a crash line doesn't feel like it's got that same piece for the team right now, right? Like I will say they had a couple good shifts tonight, and Reeves came as close as I think he's going to get to another goal in the NHL, but ultimately you don't really feel like they're coming over the boards and creating havoc the way that at least it was. Remember last year where we were talking about it and going, hey, this feels like there's a identity piece to them. That it's just not there this year. There's just like the identity of the bottom six is literally just survive. Just go out there and let the stars breathe and basically play where you don't make a mistake. And tonight they just weren't able to even do that.
I don't remember at what point of the game it was, but like the third or fourth line had like a good offensive zone shift. And Simmer's like, oh, that's a big shift from them. It's like they just had the puck in the offensive zone for 35 seconds and did nothing. But he's right. It was a big shift for them to not be playing in the defensive zone with the bottom half of the lineup. So yeah, like they need to get some guys back here, and it's Tuesday is looking like for Domi and McCabe coming back. Maybe Bobby McMahon on Thursday against the Ducks, I think I saw. So they're starting to get some bodies back. But even when they get those guys back, they do need more. Like it's not close to a finished product. They're still going to need another center, still going to need a depth winger to me. Like it's not a finished product, but yeah, it's going to be nice to see no more Alex Nylander.
Like I said, to be honest, though, I will say to me, there is a lot of positive with it because you fully identified just the one clear area of need with the team. This isn't a bunch of different things. There's not a ton of debate on it. You're a good team that is going to be chasing the best record in the Atlantic. So you hope that they are aggressive come deadline time, even though they are limited with the assets. But also it's good that you've gotten a look at some of these guys and you've got to stress test the depth. That's not easy. Do that.
Okay, let me try. Test the depth. Unique New York.
That's never again. So I think that's STD actually. So let's call it that for now. It's just STD.
That one rolls off the tongue.
You got the STD, and now you know kind of what you got down there.
Michael Bunting winner might be worse than the STD.
Oh god,
Anyways,
yeah, no,
continue.
of course he gets it, eh? Like
Yeah.
it's just and it felt like that the whole game. I was texting you, this feels like a bad bounce, weird
Yeah.
omen game, and it just was. It goes off a skate and it ends up right
Yeah.
on his tape, and he rips it in. And I got to tell you too, poor Joe Wool, because I thought he was awesome in this game. If you go look at the first goal, like run this one show, or sorry, Luke Swad Dog is on the game tonight. This first goal, this is the thing that he's been letting in this year. Like this is how near perfect he's been. Layered screens, where you got two guys that are in the shooting lane for Pittsburgh, right? One right in front of the net, one in between the shooter and Wool, and boom, it's in the back of your net. Like those are really the only ones that he has not been stopping this year. You look at a couple of the saves that he makes tonight. The one where Malkin has the breakaway at the end to kind of keep him in it with the glove save. He's got the one where the puck is kind of floating in a weird area and he's able to track it and reaches back and bats it out. He was awesome. Like I thought that he made a bunch of really great saves, kept them in it, and just.
I wonder if that's if the goal
get one for him.
If the goalie coach here was that like would they be talking about him making himself small in that situation where he brought his arms in there on a weird, is that just a reaction to bring his arms in like that?
Yeah, I just think he lost it, man. Like
just the way when he brought his arms in like that, it goes by him and it's just like he obviously couldn't see it, and he's been spectacular. But it was just weird to see him because he's usually like big and square and that pucks just hit him a lot. Same with Stolarz, and there he kind of made himself a little bit smaller. But I thought he was great. Again, like he's been excellent for them. And when he made that unbelievable save on who was it that came in off the breakaway when Matthews tracks back on Malkin, comes out in front of the net. And I don't know who it was that he robbed. Maybe it was Rust who was buzzing tonight everywhere tonight. Rust, I thought. And he makes that save. And that's that one where the classic announcer, you're like, remember that one? Or like, they look back on that save. And I really did think it was going to be that save where they come down, they get the 6-on-4, they tie it, and you look back on that, and you're going to be able to sort of praise them for that. Didn't happen, but another night where the Leafs had good goaltending. So
can I give you a minor gripe with you and I debate this all the time?
Waited too long tonight
for the pull. Yeah,
that was crazy. They had an offensive zone draw with 2 minutes left, and they could have easily pulled the goalie and gone to 6 with 2 minutes left. Me. I hate it too early, but that was an absurd decision by Berube. He's been doing really good stuff all year, but to not take him out when that was at the 2-minute mark, it was an absurd decision. Wrong decision.
I'm totally with you. It was so weird. Like Craig Simpson brought it up. He's like, now you're going to pull the goalie. And said,
you're not?
Gain the zone. As soon as you gain the zone, you're going to pull Wool. And this played around with it for, I don't know, like 15, 20 seconds before he ended up actually coming on the net. Again, a tiny minor thing, but something that I didn't really love.
But even before that play, when they came out, they had the power play unit with Tavar. Like I think the penalty was, they took the penalty with like 2 minutes and 14 seconds left. They get the offensive zone draw.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Right there. That's the spot immediately. So anyways, I don't know if you can hear my Lou dog losing his mind upstairs or not, but
no, can't. No, don't worry.
Okay, good.
Mike's good. No, your dog's losing it, but it's fine.
Oh, he's losing his mind.
Keep your composure.
In honor of the Georgia Bulldogs, old Lou dog's losing his mind right now.
Oh god, I lost money on that game tonight. I was really feeling Texas. Backup QB in there, feeling great. No, wrong. No. So I don't really know what there really is to say those games. You got another major talking point? I have a bunch of little bullet points, but nothing that's major from this game.
I'm not sure if it's a major one, but you did get one of your forwards back in Max Pacioretty tonight.
Yeah, no, I have that as the top bullet point.
So I was impressed with how, like, it felt to me like he gets back in the lineup and he wanted to remind Berube. He's like, no, I still do this. Yeah. I still do this. I still play physical. I still hammer guys. That's just still what I'm willing to do. I'm giving me the most ice time because I'm still going to hammer guys. And he was a little bit over the top with it. Took 2 separate penalties being physical. I thought the second one was an absurd call. Everybody was in there. There was, he fell down to the ice. The first one, fine, totally right. But like everyone's fighting and Letang falls and you pick him out of that. That was an insane decision by the ref, but whatever. I thought he was really physical, and it was impressive to me that his first game back, he's going to be like that. But it just really felt like a guy that was a bit too horned up to remind his coach that he's a physical guy. You feel the same way?
Yeah. He also can't be up there on that top line. Like,
no,
I think that again, when you get McMahon and you get Domi back, you're going to have decisions to make, but Yeah, to me, it just looked like a guy who is, you're right, chasing the game a little bit too much, trying to
like
have
Joe
an impact.
Thornton when they tried to play him with those two guys.
Dude, honestly, that's a great comparison.
Yes.
It's like when Jumbo started to lose it, and all of a sudden he started to become like Mr. Bully a little bit too much and go, this is my part of the team. And you go, yeah, you don't really need that tonight as much as you need to tuck and not to be taking penalties, right? Yeah. Like out of all the penalties, they took 5. Yeah. One was Matthews on the high stick. But 3 of them, like those are, and I know that he's playing in the top 6, but Pacioretty's a depth guy. Like that's 3 penalties by depth dudes. You don't really love that. So
I'm just looking at who, it was, I was just looking at the penalties here. Just give me a second.
It's those 4. I can't remember who ended up taking.
Nye's got the first one. Pacioretty, Matthews, Nylander.
Yeah. So too many guys that need to not be doing that, taking those penalties. Pacioretty looked rusty to me. Yeah, and ultimately, it's a weird one because I would have just actually preferred he played with Tavares and Nylander and then kept Nyes up on the top line with Matthews and Marner.
Yep. I think that was a curious decision too, because that's what the line was before he got hurt, right?
Yep.
Was Nylander, Tavares, and Pacioretty, and they had actually had some pretty good moments, those 3 together. So it was a little bit curious, but
I just thought weird to kind of fire him up there with those 2 guys. And maybe it was a little bit of like, hey, if you 2 are going to play together, you're going to have to carry the other guy. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, hey, we're reuniting you. You're taking Pacioretty. You're not also getting Nyes. We're trying to do something here for Tavares to balance out the change for him. But just didn't really love it. I don't think that line, again, Marner I thought was really solid. I don't think it was a very good Matthews game. Like not a lot of flashy moments for me with him.
He hasn't been like spectacular since he's gotten back. And of course he's scored. I mean, he scored that unbelievable goal against Nashville where he walks around the guy and tucks it 5-hole. He gets the other one. I think he's got, how many points does he have since he's come back? But he just had like the point production versus what he's actually looked like. He's not up to speed. No. And I don't know if whatever is ailing him is still ailing him, but it's not peak Matthews right now or yet. And we haven't really seen peak Matthews at all this year.
Well, we saw him for that last period, like when he and Marner first got reunited.
Yeah. Like, but that was a lot of Marner. If I'm being totally honest.
Sure, it was.
It was a lot of Marner.
Still scored a beautiful goal where he drove.
For sure. Walked the guy. It was a gorgeous goal. It was a gorgeous goal. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But like the consistent night after night, wave after wave, Austin Matthews that we've gotten so used to hasn't been there since the start of the year.
And even tonight, it was clear that Marner was the best player on the line.
For sure.
Like with by like a pretty healthy margin.
Yeah, and he's been the best player on the team from the start of the season till now. So I don't know what's up here. Like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that he's getting back up to speed and it's not a lingering injury thing and he had 8 games off. And I don't know though, but it doesn't look the same way as it's looked in years past. Yeah. And it hasn't since preseason till now. So we'll see. Yeah. It's a work in progress for him.
Yep. Last kind of semi-major talking point for me is the 5 forwards get the power play goal. It was a nice one. Like just kind of zipping it around. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, bomb. Just hilarious to me how effortless Nylander makes shooting the puck that hard look.
Yeah. 80 mile an hour, and he barely it felt like he barely touched it.
Dude, I like when we roll this and you see it, it's like, did he even try?
That's actually the blessing and the curse of William Nylander. Yeah. Is that for he looks so good doing things, but when it goes bad, it just doesn't look like he's trying. Because he's just so smooth. And that was, I think, the smoothest one-timer ever.
For sure. But
so easy.
It kind of looked like they were in warm-ups.
Yeah.
He's not like stepping into it. It's like, yeah, right. Boom. Cruises it right by Jari. Nice shot. Beautiful shot. I'm still, again, that was nice. They scored that goal tonight. Yeah. I still have my questions about it. I still feel like
what Petrielli said last night about it.
No, I didn't see you guys.
Yeah, it's all good, buddy. It's fine. Yeah. I guess who I would not have watched if I wasn't. I would not have watched.
My one night off Leafs talk, whereas with my family, I didn't know if you saw the clip. Out to the bar after it was not to be like, what are the boys saying?
No, I don't know if you saw the clip on Twitter or whatever. That's what the clip you put out.
Play. No.
It was just that the way that with the 5 forwards, it really does slot everybody into their proper positions on the actual power play. With Nylander where he's shooting it from. You have Tavares in the bumper. You have Nyes as the net front guy, and you have Marner as the distributor at the top. They are all kind of in the right spot, but I still don't like. My point was, it's just like it still offends my old school hockey sensibilities where I still don't love it, and it'll always take some getting used to. And I don't know if you're going into game one of the playoffs, you're going to have 5 forwards on your power play unit. I don't know if you want to do that, but I don't know. Like, it does slot guys in correctly, but it is just, I think, an old guy take that I don't love it.
To me, though, that's true. Like, I don't disagree with that opinion. My only thing with it, which continues to be kind of uncomfortable, is that ultimately where my favorite spot for Marner to walk down is the right side. I love it when Marner creates space, kind of driving the right and looking for passing lanes or a shooting lane off the right side. And then when Matthews is there, and he's kind of occupying that spot, it takes it away from me to a certain degree, right? All of a sudden they look like two guys that are a little bit bunched up. It reminds me a bit of a basketball team where you got two guys that like to both be in the paint, and it feels like it gets a little too crowded. It's just that one spot.
Little Chris Bosh, Jermaine O'Neal action going on.
Yeah, just two guys that both want to play on the block, right? And that's just it. You've got two guys that want to play on the right block. And yeah, I think that there's a little bit of an uncomfortability with it. To me, though, at this point, I can't really quibble with going with a different unit. Like, what do you want to do? You want to take Nyes off and put it back to Morgan Riley? Like, you want to put Oliver Ekman-Larsson out there instead of Tavares?
This is what you do. This is it.
It is. It is what you do. You got to figure it out. It's just going to be, like you mentioned, a bit of a work in progress, and they're going to have to figure out and tinker with a few of the things. But most notably, that is the one to me that sticks out. Anyways,
and you can have Marner there at the top, who is at least capable as a defensive kind of guy. They tried him on defense last year, which is, you look back on that, and that's one of the most insane things that happened over this era of Leafs hockey, and that's saying something. But he still can stop a 2-on-1. He can still make a good defensive play. He can still chase a guy down. So
it's what's going to happen. The odd time, right? Like, it's not going to be perfect. It's not as good as having an actual defenseman there.
If you have an actual defenseman up there, you still give up shorties too.
Yeah. So it's fine. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah,
it always happens. Yeah. So I wanted to bring up Simone Benoit because I think he's been great. Like, I think since he got scratched and he came back into the
totally
lineup,
agree,
he's been so physical and like it feels like he got back to what his identity was. It was a wake up call for him, but he is an objectively hilarious hockey player. Just the way he flies around there tonight. And I don't know if we have the clip of the stick getting stuck. If you're watching on YouTube, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, what is happening here?
I know.
He's like, he can't get rid of it. And he's trying to do a toe drag. He's got two sticks going. The hair's flying around. He's just hilarious hockey player. The big duster, the big French guy. Yeah. I don't know. I love this guy. And this was a really, really funny moment in the game. And he was buzzing around offensively. He was diving below the dots tonight. He was really feeling it. It felt like he was like, well, nobody, like you said earlier, well, I got to get a goal, I guess.
Somebody else has to step in. It was funny that he was still able to make he kind of was still able to make a play.
But just move your arm. Like, why is it that? So I just thought that this is a good opportunity to heap some praise on Benoit, because since he's come back in the lineup, I don't know who it was, but I think it was Rust. They were along the far boards, and Rust tried to come in, and he just wallpapered him, like sealed off the boards, pushed him into it. And then Rust punches him in the face, and he's battling a little bit with him. And, when McCabe comes back, to me, I think the move would probably be I think Timmins has gone stock down a little bit over the last few games. And again, they like Myers. Myers has been playing a lot with Riley. So I think probably Timmins maybe sit a couple games once McCabe comes back, maybe wake up Timmins a little bit or whatever. But I'm not even thinking about taking Benoit out of the lineup when McCabe comes back.
No. That's not. Yeah,
McCabe, it's kind of done now.
No. What's happening is you've got to. We mentioned this the last time I was on, not the last show, but the one prior. I think that you've Berube and the staff have got to have figured out that OEL has to be on his left side.
Yep.
He's not playing opposite side. He's got to be on the left. So to me, it's just figuring out how you make that balance work right now. Right. And I think that you're kind of cycling through those bottom guys. I guess Hakanpää is not dead because he's
a star for Team Finland now.
Yeah, I know. But
how thin is they just we have 7 D men and they're all on the team. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it is what it is. I think it's probably one of those things where they feel like he could be injured, and so they named him to the team and said, "Hey, if he is healthy, we keep him." Right, which is something I thought Canada might do with Doughty, but then they didn't end up doing it. But whatever. So anyway, to me, it's just you're trying to figure out how to make the puzzle pieces work, but it really is nice that Benoit is playing great because you're right to heap praise on him. He looks exactly like the guy that everybody fell in love with last season. Anything else for you? You ready to
go? No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. I don't really have much else from this game. Like, I don't think there is. Congrats to Kyle Dubas, got to win. I will.
I will say, one thing. Okay. Didn't know if I wanted to do it because I didn't want to
No. I don't have any disparaging remarks. I just actually.
I do. It was just sour. I'm sour. They lost this game. Like I think as a anti-Dubas Leaf fan, I think this is the one that you circle on the calendar, like almost as much as any Bruins game, almost as any Habs game, like as a real rival where you want the Leafs to beat them. And the Leafs have owned them pretty handily for quite a long time. And it sucks going in there and having them win. And of course it's Bunting that's like, this is one where I'm watching and there's certain nights we're doing Leafs talk where I'm not exactly leaned in. Tonight is a leaned in kind of night. And when Matthew Nyes, the puck lands on his stick in the slot and he hammers it off the post in a wide, I'm like, wish you kind of just shot that in tonight, Matthew. Wish they're it's just this one that when I watch these two teams play, of all the teams in the league, they're really, really high on the list of teams I want to beat as a anti-Dubas Leaf fan.
Can I give you a spin zone though?
I love, and Sid looked good tonight. Sid looked good tonight. He was buzzing around. Yeah, sure. Further away from getting a good pick.
Correct. Yeah. That's what I thought of immediately. I was like, good for you guys. Not going anywhere. You're getting further away from a top pick. Great. Be in the middle.
They've had some good wins recently. They've beaten some good competition. Like,
buddy, if there's a thing that a Leaf fan our age knows is there's nothing worse than being stuck in the middle, just outside that playoff spot, scratching and clawing. And that's the way that it looks like Sid is resigned for the rest of his career. Like those years when I was in university, that was hell. Trying to play or pray for the 8th seed and just barely missing it, and then trying to sell yourself on Yuri Talutsi being the next star of the organization, hoping you would get into a slot like that. Like I think that the Penguins, if they keep winning, they keep doing this, that's kind of where they're going to be. So
here's my other spin zone is that I don't want Sid to be on the worst team in the league. I want them to be fighting, like you said. I want them to be fighting for a playoff spot, for Sid to still be having relevant moments, and
I'm
still be playing. No, like I want him. Well, because he's never going to demand a trade. He's never going to leave.
That's it. I don't want that. That's the thing that might break him and might force them to do it. Is that if they are truly horrific and they do this year where they go, all right, we can't do it. We're not doing Sid in season. But if they go into this offseason where my boy Gavin McKenna, who is just absolutely destroying
kid's on fire. Dude, he is so hot right now.
So outrageously hot. You get into the Gavin McKenna draft where he's like it's a real potential franchise changer, number one pick.
He's Connor McDavid type guy.
Yeah,
he's in that same conversation. He really is.
Potentially. But like you look at all the numbers that he's put up, like it's pretty outrageous.
On par with Connor.
Yeah, well, he's completely outpacing where Berard was at, and
Bedard.
Yeah, sorry, yes, but that he's crushing what his numbers were, and so you look at him at that age and what he might be, and you say to yourself, God, maybe try to get as many losses as possible, especially if we're not going anywhere. If you end up bad, so. I don't know. I'm torn between the two ideas, but I would just think if you are a fan of Sid, ultimately what you want is the freeing of Sidney Crosby so that A, you don't have to have the Dubas conflict, and B, he gets an opportunity to go chase cups somewhere else.
My dream is him like on the Avalanche. That's just my dream. Where I can just root harder for
everybody's
any team.
Dream is him on the Avalanche.
Well, on the Leafs. The Leafs is my number one dream, but Avalanche is the one where he goes over there with McKinnon and McCarr and the Canadian boys, and they go win one over there. That would be the dream, other than him and the Leafs, clearly. But
would you do Nyes and Cowan plus for tomorrow?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I probably would. Gun to my head, I probably would. Like, yeah, I would be if he wanted to play for the Leafs. Listen, I would be having a long meeting. Let's just say that. There would be a meeting. There'd be some pizza and Chinese food involved. There would be some PowerPoint presentations by multiple people. We would be having a convo, but I don't know if I could pull the trigger on like Cowan first, but if it was Nyes, they would probably want, obviously, I don't know.
No, they would need to be those two guys.
Yeah.
Like there's not even there's no one even
Aktiamov.
yeah.
Topi,
like,
Roni.
Oh, what's the kid's name in Oshawa right now? The captain who's
Stanford. Did you see the hit that kid threw last night?
No, but
I'll DM it to you. He threw the hardest hit in hockey history.
Well, we're gonna go see him soon. So yeah, gonna go out to.
I actually put last night. I'm so glad you weren't here because you would have got so mad at me. But I put OHL highlights on Leafs Talk last night.
Might as well. What else are you gonna do? They played
the goal that Seneke kid scored last night on Oshawa. Did you see that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was one of the nicest goals I've ever seen. Dude, so I was like, we're playing it on Leafs Talk.
That is one of the nicest goals I've ever seen. He did it on purpose.
Of course, it was really nice. So
when I first watched it, I assumed that it was kind of like a happy accident, and then I watched it again, and I went, "Oh my god, that's how good guys are! Is that's what they're doing at that level now? Oh my god!" Anyway.
And he didn't make the World Junior team, so that means we'll get to see him when we go out there next Friday night. Yes, so that's exciting.
Absolutely. Very excited for that. All right. For me and Sammy, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee. Reach out anytime. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, do all those things, and we will see you
Tuesday against the Devils.
Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. All right. We'll see you Tuesday night.